On CNN tomorrow, which king will be crowned? Live from Graceland, the Elvis stamp announcement. Later on Morning News, where does this candidate stand on the environment? All tomorrow on CNN.
At GMC Truck, our only business is trucks, and has been for over 80 years. A dedication to truck strengths and values to keep in mind. Because when you need to haul something, tow something, carry precious cargo, find new trails, or simply ride high and proud, there's nothing quite as strong as a truck. GMC Truck, the strength of experience.
There's never been a terrorist attack on American soil, Jack. These men are professionals. Personal revenge rarely plays into it. But I killed his brother.
From the producer of The Hunt for Red October.
Ryan's still alive!
Based on the best-selling novel.
I don't care what you have to do. You just get him.
Where's Sean Miller? Harrison Ford. Patriot Games, rated R. The games begin June 5th at theaters everywhere.
Elvis, if only you were here. Tomorrow is the big day. The post office will announce which picture of Elvis Presley will grace a commemorative stamp. Post office officials say that more than 1 million ballots have been cast in the closely followed campaign. Will it be the younger Elvis or the older version? Find out tomorrow morning for yourself. CNN plans live coverage of the Elvis stamp unveiling ceremony. That's at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, as Elvis's ex-wife Priscilla opens the envelope with the winning stamp. And just ahead on Inside Politics 92, Ross Perot names 2 political bigwigs to his team. We will get reaction from the other campaigns. Stay right there.
Saab convertibles hail from Sweden, whose northernmost reaches lie within the Arctic Circle, which is why Saabs are rugged, sure-footed on all surfaces, and provide a large weatherproof sanctuary with a driver's side airbag and anti-lock brakes, which makes Saab one convertible that won't be under the weather, no matter what weather it's under.
I just can't stand this anymore. How am I supposed to fall asleep with this pain? I could take one of those nighttime pain relievers with a sleep ingredient. But all I really need is Advil to help stop the pain that's keeping me up. Just Advil. That's all I want. Without the extra sleep ingredient I don't want. Advil is so effective, it relieves the pain, so I can get to sleep.
Discover the relief of Advil at bedtime. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
Uh-oh, your cat may scat, but she leaves her hair behind. Get rid of it with Power Picker-Upper by Telebrands. Power Picker-Upper picks up hair, picks up crumbs, picks up dirt. It's so strong, it'll even pick up these coins. The miracle substance, ZR7, never wears out. No tape to replace, no mess to empty. Can your vacuum cleaner pick up pet hair? Power Picker-Upper never misses. Add this telescoping handle to reach high and low without bending or straining. For your clothing, you get this personal picker-upper with convenient swivel head. You also receive not 1, but 2 pocket picker-uppers that fit neatly anywhere you go. You get them all for only $19.95. Order now.
To order, have your credit card ready and call 1-800-257-1257. That's 1-800-257-1257. Or send check or money order for $19.95 plus $4.50 shipping and handling to Power Picker-Upper, P.O. Box 8250, Atlanta, Georgia. Or call 1-800-257-1257.
This is CNN.
My role is to come in and try to understand the Perot phenomena, hopefully make a contribution to that phenomena, and hopefully have Ross Perot in the White House in January.
Ross Perot takes a 1-2 punch, hiring a pair of top political strategists. How will they fit into the Texas Tycoons' grassroots campaign? And how are rival camps reacting?
This is Inside Politics 92 with Brian Christie at the CNN Center in Atlanta.
Hello, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining us. I'm Brian Christie. Bernard Shaw will be joining us in Washington in just a moment, but first, this campaign trail update. Billionaire Ross Perot moved a step closer today toward declaring his bid for the White House. Perot signed a pair of veteran political strategists to run his still unofficial campaign. CNN's Tony Clark has this report.
Perot moved Wednesday to bolster his front-runner position, hiring political pros Hamilton Jordan, who was Jimmy Carter's chief of staff, and Ed Rollins, who engineered Ronald Reagan's 1984 re-election campaign.
One of the challenges for Ed and myself in coming into this movement, as we described it, is not to try to fix something that's not broken. My role is to come in and try to understand the Perot phenomena, hopefully make a contribution to that phenomena.
I think it's very important that this campaign be not only just about change, but when you get there, being able to make the system work more effectively. And he absolutely is committed to that. I think in the course of this campaign, we will talk about the agenda for the 90s, and I think that's the critical thing from my perspective. It's not.
Perot, earlier in the day, made it clear that while the two heavy hitters were coming on board, he would not use them to alter his self-styled campaign.
What we're trying to do is get the talent in here to make sure we can deliver on my commitment to run a world-class campaign. They will not be my handlers. They will not get me up in the morning, dress me, give me words to say, tell me what to do and where to go. That's not their role.
The role of Jordan and Rollins is expected to be one of building on the already growing support for Perot, turning out that support on Election Day, and handling the mechanics of a campaign.
This will not be a conventional campaign, but we have a relatively small amount of time between now and November. We do not have time to climb up the learning curve on all the blocking and tackling that has to take place, all the rules, the regulations, and what have you.
Up to now, Perot has depended on the work of volunteers and a number of television appearances to spread his campaign. And exit polls taken during Tuesday's final primaries showed him with strong support among Democrats and Republicans.
The impact on me, number one, it's a long time from now till November. Number two, I don't pay much attention to polls. Number three, when I'm involved in a competition, whether it's business or what have you, I understand very clearly it's never over till it's over.
At Perot's campaign headquarters in Dallas, the phones have been ringing nonstop, with supporters reacting to the strong showing in the exit polls and the hiring of Jordan and Rollins.
We started answering the phones here at 9 o'clock as we do every morning, and as quickly as you'd put down one call, there'd be 2 or 3 waiting, and it's just been exploding.
And that explosion is being felt not only here in Dallas, but across the country, and especially at the White House.
I'd be nervous because the environment is an environment for change, and when you're the status quo, it's just very, very difficult.
With his two new political strategists in place in Dallas, Perot is back on the road again. He'll be in Las Vegas Thursday, meeting with supporters as they turn in petitions in an attempt to put him on yet another state's November presidential ballot. Tony Clark, CNN, Dallas.
Perhaps in an attempt to shine the political spotlight back on himself, President Bush will hold a rare primetime news conference tomorrow night, but the 3 entertainment networks say they do not plan to run it. We will have the news conference live from the East Room of the White House at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And following that, we'll talk to Rollins and Jordan's new boss, Tom Luce, Perot's campaign chairman. And, of course, at 9 o'clock Eastern, Democratic presidential candidate Bill Clinton will be appearing on Larry King Live. The Bush campaign is acknowledging the presidential race will be a 3-way contest. White House spokesman Marlon Fitzwater says that it's been a reality for the last couple of months. CNN's Charles Bierberer has more.
President Bush's supporters say Ross Perot's new campaign co-managers could be a point of vulnerability. Perot had said he wouldn't be manipulated by Washington handlers, but now he's hired 2 of the best and most expensive in the business.
Perot is going to have skilled handlers now. 2 guys who are very capable political tacticians and strategists.
But there is at least a political rift in the Rollins family.
I've been very happily married for 5 years up till the last week.
Sherry Rollins, a high-level assistant to President Bush, is leaving the White House, but not to join Perot. Her resignation letter to the president says, "I firmly believe your re-election is crucial for the future of the nation." Not so husband Ed Rollins, who is reportedly convinced Perot is the necessary vehicle of change in a year of voter rebellion.
I think the vulnerability the president has that the American public today is looking to the future, not the past. And I think that obviously when you've been around for as long as he has and many of his advisors, it's awful hard to be the change agent.
Though Rollins signed on for the 1980 Reagan Revolution, he has been in and out of favor with the Bush camp.
Ed, as you know, managed one of President Bush's opponents' campaigns in 1988. And so it doesn't really come as a surprise to me.
Democrat Hamilton Jordan was White House Chief of Staff for Jimmy Carter, who also campaigned as a Washington outsider. Perot is clearly reaching in two different directions.
Whether or not the having two will actually add twice the value or half the value depends a lot on whether Perot can harness the advantages that both bring and get them both going in the same direction.
Perot continues to steal attention away from both the Republican and Democratic candidates. White House spokesman Marlin Fitzwater says the president has felt for some time that he's in an unpredictable three-way race, and that troubles Bush campaign officials more than running against Bill Clinton or Ross Perot singly. As California ended the primary season, the president started right in on winning California votes in November.
When that convention of ours is over, I'm coming out of there with my sleeves rolled up, ready to take this fight to every precinct in this country. And we're going to win it. Believe me, we are going to win it.
The Bush campaign argues that Perot's candidacy does more damage to Clinton, and if the race should narrow to only two candidates, it will be the president against one or the other of his challengers. Charles Bierbaum, CNN, the White House.
And speaking about Ross Perot for the first time, Bill Clinton lobbed some harsh criticism toward Perot today. CNN national political correspondent Gene Randall has that story.
The morning after his sweep of the nation's final round of Democratic primaries, Bill Clinton continued a developing attack on Ross Perot and his billionaire's approach to a potential candidacy. The issue, Perot's hiring of former Reagan-Bush aide Ed Rollins and former Jimmy Carter Chief of Staff Hamilton Jordan.
Ross Perot has been a very effective professional political operative over the last 20 years. That is not the image he's trying to give off. And I think that this will at least confirm that. Not that he has bipartisan support, but that he's buying good political help. And that he is a politician like the others who seek the presidency.
Clinton recognizes a need to do something about Ross Perot, whose latest exit poll figures put a damper on Clinton's Tuesday successes. As he celebrated his nomination-level delegate count Tuesday night, Bill Clinton attacked two rivals, George Bush and Ross Perot.
I've got one opponent who says he'll do whatever it takes to hold on to the White House. Then there's another person running who says he'll spend whatever it takes to get the White House.
At an ABC affiliates meeting in Los Angeles Wednesday, Clinton said, the Perot factor notwithstanding, he did not expect the election to end up in the House of Representatives. Asked on Wednesday if he would agree to support the top vote-getter in a three-man race to prevent an electoral crisis, Clinton said he would have to think about that. Gene Randall, CNN, Los Angeles.
And meanwhile, Clinton brought his message to late-night TV tonight. He was a guest on the Arsenio Hall show. The appearance likely will be remembered for Clinton's musical performance instead of his political performance. Elvis's Heartbreak Hotel. It's at least the second time Clinton was forayed into late-night TV. On The Tonight Show in 1988, he joked about his much maligned speech at the Democratic National Convention. Vice President Dan Quayle is learning that in politics it is often difficult to separate fact from fiction, particularly when it comes to the issue of unwed motherhood.
And there, now you got it, huh? Now you got the whole world. There you go. Now make a scene. Now that you're on.
Quayle met with several single mothers today at a Florida pregnancy center. Following their discussion, he characterized the women as genuine heroes. Quayle's comments come a month after he criticized TV character Murphy Brown for having a child out of wedlock. And I'm Brian Christie. Now we go to Bernie Shaw in Washington with more Inside Politics. Bernie.
Now to Eleanor Clift and Ken Bodie of CNN Special Assignment very quickly. Eleanor, is Ross Perot going to try to have this campaign his way?
Apparently, and he's doing very well. You get the feeling watching these goings-on that the Democrats and the president are playing by one set of rules, and Ross Perot has got a whole other game going. The Democratic nominee has just won the big prize, and it looks as though it's some vestigial apparition going on out there, and that the real story is Ross Perot. You know, again, whether this can last, I don't know, but it seems to me the fact that he's willing to spend his money to make sure it lasts is considered a virtue by the American people. They see this as him, you know, putting his wallet where his mouth is, and that he's got the commitment to try to make this happen. They don't see this as a negative.
Ken, Perot likes to be seen as a shrewdy, but isn't it a case in this town that Ed Rollins and Ham Jordan are damaged goods?
Oh, I don't think so, Bernie. I think, first of all, Hamilton Jordan left the town, had a bout with cancer, left a lot of friends behind here, and he's been out of public life for 14 years. I think that whatever ill feelings he left behind are probably pretty much over with. Ed Rollins is a very smart, very canny political manager. He's been in the White House. He knows government. It was interesting that he said he wouldn't take another job in government, even a Perot government. That was an interesting point that he made. But it's no real surprise.
And I'm Brian Christie. Now we go to Bernie Shaw in Washington with more Inside Politics. Bernie.
Now to Eleanor Clift and Ken Bodie of CNN Special Assignment very quickly. Eleanor, is Ross Perot going to try to have this campaign his way?
Apparently, and he's doing very well. You get the feeling watching these goings-on that the Democrats and the president are playing by one set of rules, and Ross Perot has got a whole other game going. The Democratic nominee has just won the big prize, and it looks as though it's some vestigial apparition going on out there, and that the real story is Ross Perot. You know, again, whether this can last, I don't know, but it seems to me the fact that he's willing to spend his money to make sure it lasts is considered a virtue by the American people. They see this as him, you know, putting his wallet where his mouth is, and that he's got the commitment to try to make this happen. They don't see this as a negative.
Ken, Perot likes to be seen as a shrewdy, but isn't it a case in this town that Ed Rollins and Ham Jordan are damaged goods?
Oh, I don't think so, Bernie. I think, first of all, Hamilton Jordan left the town, had a bout with cancer, left a lot of friends behind here, and he's been out of public life for 14 years. I think that whatever ill feelings he left behind are probably pretty much over with. Ed Rollins is a very smart, very canny political manager. He's been in the White House. He knows government. It was interesting that he said he wouldn't take another job in government, even a Perot government. That was an interesting point that he made. But it's no real surprise that Rollins would do something like this if you've listened to Rollins over the last couple of years. He has talked about de-alignment and talked about the way the parties have begun to fade as meaningful institutions and so forth. Now, so I think it's not a real surprise that he would do that. I don't think either one of these fellows are damaged goods at all. I think what they do basically is bring a real high-level sort of management to the campaign. I think they're both aware that what's going on beneath the surface in this campaign is what's really important, and that is that it really is a people's movement, and they've got to continue to get on the ballot, and that's the most important thing.
When I say damaged good, I'm referring to his role in the Reagan administration and his role outside the Bush administration.
Well, Ed Rollins, you'll remember, was paid $1 million by the Republican Congressional Campaign Committee to take over the Congress, and he didn't do very well at that. And Hamilton Jordan not only won the White House in '76, he also lost it in '80.
That's what I was alluding to. Eleanor Clift of Newsweek and Ken Bodie, Special Assignment. When we come back, our public opinion analyst, William Schneider.
Receiving a better education than they were when Mr. Carter took office. Young people today have more.
Behold the passion and pageantry of the noble warrior within.
armed with a Snapper recycling mulcher mower with its 2x2 split level blade. 2 blades for the way up, 2 blades for the way down. Their Ninja 2x2 blade cuts every blade of grass who knows how many times. It's also handy that I don't have to take the time to beg. Looks like I did. Snapper. Anything less just won't mulch it. Now pay nothing down and no payments until January.
Oh, this athlete's foot. The itching, the burning.
And the odor. Phew.
Stop the itch and the odor with new Odor Eaters Athlete's Foot Cream.
Odor Eaters for athlete's foot?
Look, Odor Eaters Cream cures itching, burning athlete's foot while it controls that awful odor. Yet it costs less than any of these.
No more athlete's foot.
And no more odor.
New Odor Eaters Athlete's Foot Cream. Powder and spray, too.
Each year, corporate America spends over $10 billion on overnight shipping. Yet according to a report in the Wall Street Journal, $3 billion of that is wasted. If you find that kind of inefficiency alarming, call UPS. We can save you up to 40% on overnight deliveries and help prevent your profits from going up in smoke. UPS. We run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
I'll have a Big Mac and small fries.
You get the same thing every time. They have chef salad, filet of fish, chicken fajitas. Come on, live a little.
Okay, I'll have a Big Mac and large fries. You're a wild man.
Used to be, folks couldn't wait to try Uncle Ben's rice. Now you don't have to. Uncle Ben's Fast Cook Rice. Light, separate, perfect. Everything you already love about our original converted rice in about 5 minutes.
Tomorrow, the man the Democrats are sending in against George Bush. Bill Clinton takes on the president and takes your phone calls. Larry King Live, tomorrow, 9 Eastern on CNN.
Morning breath.
As soon as I have my coffee, it's all gone.
Whether you admit it or not, it's a problem.
Okay, I have morning breath, but it doesn't bother anyone.
Don't be so sure.
Mine's not so bad.
Morning breath's not as bad as you think. It's worse. So get Scope. Its 2 powerful ingredients kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
Was my morning breath really that bad?
There's no denying morning breath, so save your breath with Scope.
If you think you have only 2 choices for business computer systems, think again. Hewlett-Packard.
Joining us with the nuances behind the latest exit poll numbers and what they may mean for November, Bill Schneider, a public opinion analyst. Where's all the support for Perot coming from?
Well, Bernie, what's driving the support for Perot is negative feelings towards both Bush and Clinton, and those are unusually high for candidates who are about to claim their party's nomination. Let's look at the exit poll. For instance, we asked California Republicans who voted yesterday how they felt about the man who won their nomination, George Bush. As you can see, George Bush had a 40% unfavorable rating. That's a lot more than Pat Buchanan got in that primary. A lot of Republicans don't like him. We asked Democrats their view of Bill Clinton. He won that primary, but look, he has a 46% unfavorable rating. Unusually high, and a lot of that vote went to Jerry Brown yesterday in California. Now, what's supposed to happen now, at this stage, is the parties close ranks around their nominees. They rally behind the candidates. That's what conventions are for these days. They're nothing more than pep rallies to drive the candidates' favorable images up. If that happens, if Bush or Clinton's favorability goes up, then Ross Perot's support will necessarily diminish.
How easy will it be, if indeed it will be easy, for Bush and Clinton to turn around their images?
Well, it's not just anger at Bush and Clinton. There's a lot of frustration and anger at the way things are going in the country. For instance, we asked the Republicans in California how the economy was doing, and 1/3 of them said that their economic situation had actually gotten worse. And as you can see here, those Republicans, when asked how they will vote in November, over 60% of them say they will vote for Ross Perot. So it's anger, frustration, the economy that's driving a lot of Perot's support. Perot's support is based more than anything else on the desire for change. So it means we're going to be watching for two things in the course of this campaign. One, will that desire for change stay as strong as it is right now if the economic recovery takes hold? Well, so far, the economic recovery has begun. Voters say they think the economy is getting better, but it hasn't helped George Bush. Los Angeles is a symbol that the problems out there are much bigger than just the economy. And second of all, will either Bush or Clinton be able to capture that mantle for change? Clinton's strategy is to let Perot create the market for change, and then he'll say, Perot is not a plausible candidate. I'm the only one who can bring you real change.
So what is the challenge for Perot?
Well, Perot has to do two things simultaneously. He has to present himself as a plausible president, someone whom people can actually see in the White House, which means that he has the right experience, that he's safe, that he's not risky. Voters don't take a lot of risks when they vote for president. And second of all, he has to somehow maintain his image as an outsider at the same time. Now, that's a very difficult balance to maintain. We see it today when he named Hamilton Jordan and Ed Rollins to his campaign staff. That has increased Perot's plausibility here in Washington. They are players, and that makes Perot look like a more serious candidate. But how is it going to play outside of Washington? These guys are consummate Beltway politicians. That's going to be a tough thing to bring off. And as he answers issue questions, he's going to be even more on the spot.
That will be the moment of truth. Finally, Bill, recent polls seem to give different indications of Perot's strength. Why these differences?
Well, because Perot doesn't have a base like Bush and Clinton. We measured Bush and Clinton's base in our polls. We find that Bush has a hardcore base that's about 15 or 16%. Clinton has 11%. Perot's base is only 6%. That means that his support is going to fluctuate a great deal, and we're going to see a lot of erratic poll results over the next few months.
Bill Schneider, thanks very much. When we come back, California underscores the idea that this is likely to be a golden political year for American women.
You want to lease a Mercedes, but you don't want a long commitment. You could get a shorter term, but the payments might be too high. Introducing the win-win lease. Short term, less cost. It's like stumbling onto a bargain signed by Van Gogh. The Mercedes win-win lease.
They say this detergent with bleach built in gets clothes really clean, but I wondered how it compared to my Clorox bleach. So I got 2 stained shirts, and I washed this one in detergent with bleach built in, and this one in Clorox bleach and my regular detergent. And look, the shirt washed in Clorox bleach is cleaner. I think I'll stay with Clorox bleach. Clorox liquid bleach. Still no better way to get clothes clean.
Wilt Chamberlain, the greatest basketball player in history, is testing the new Easy Spirit dress shoe for men. The one with the hidden sneaker inside.
Looks like a dress shoe, feels like a sneaker.
Wilt is doing his famous dipper dunk, only now he's doing it in Easy Spirit dress shoes.
There really is a sneaker in these shoes.
Easy Spirit is bringing the fans to their feet.
Tom Glavine and Steve Avery go to the official source, and so can you, with the Braves Catalog. Send your name and address to Braves Catalog, Post Office Box 4006, Atlanta, Georgia 30302.
The number of women in the United States Senate could increase sharply this fall. 2 Senate races are being contested in California. Women have won the Democratic nomination in both races. More from CNN's Dan Blackburn.
Dianne Feinstein and Barbara Boxer, winners of the Democratic nomination for California's 2 Senate seats, launched a hasty flying tour of the state and said they will run as a team.
We'll have probably different styles at some points because women we're different, just as men are different. But I think that we will carry together a message which can be very potent in turning around this nation and opening the process to action.
While the Democratic candidates were celebrating, Republicans held a unity meeting.